Stay tuned and let's check out this Spider-Man retro card back wave Symbiote Spider-Man. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews as always. My name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro card back wave, and in front of me we have arguably Spider-Man's second most iconic outfit. It is of course the all black Symbiote Spider-Man, and it even says Symbiote suit there on the top. So this is obviously a redo of the all black Symbiote suit, but on the new retro body, which does allow for a lot more posing and just an overall fun figure. He comes with the right amount of accessories as well, because he comes with all three sets of Spider-Man hands that should come as standard with all Spider-Man figures. We get the fists, the wall crawling hands, and the swipping hands as well. So always happy if that is all we're going to get with the Spider-Man figure. That is enough, so I'm happy with that. So there he is in the box, looking very nice. The paint job actually looks really clean as well, because white on black, if there's a mess, you're going to spot it straight away. On the glorious card art as well, spin it around onto the back, and we get all the other figures that are in this second wave of Spider-Man retro line. Long may it continue. And of course, we get a throwback to the stencil that was on the old Toy Biz cards, and we get a write-up that reads: Spider-Man gets an all-new look when he finds a sleek black costume in a space shuttle wreck. Little does Spidey realise he's joined himself with a predatory alien symbiote, Venom. So of course we all know the score. This black suit, as I said, is iconic now. So let's get an upgrade, shall we? Let's open them up. Pal, so here we have the Symbiote Spider-Man out of the packaging with the accessories, which, as I said, are just the interchangeable set of hands. So he comes with 3 complete sets of hands. Now, Mr. J Hernandez has already done a great video on this guy, showing off much better range of poses you can get from him than I will. But I still want to take a look at the figure and obviously compare it to the previous version that we already got, which is this guy here. So let me move these hands out of the way for a second. So there you go. That is your straight up Symbiote Spidey suit comparison. So obviously the proportions are a little bit different on this newer one. I think he's a little bit more broad, a little bit more athletically built. This guy's a little bit more slim, as this was on the Pizza Spider-Man body, of course. So that is your comparison right there. Both of them still have pins though, unfortunately. I guess that's the next upgrade for Marvel Legends. Spider-Man is like, give us a nice articulated body without the pins. But this Spider-Man had the big hole in the back, which we didn't need. This one doesn't, obviously. And yeah, just there you go. There's your straight up comparison. But we will zoom in and take a closer look at this guy first and just see how he looks. So the disadvantage of having a white design on a black figure means if there's any sloppy paint, we are going to notice it straight away. But I'm happy to report the lines on mine seem really clean. Like, look how crisp they are. And they've very cleverly this time put the web lines of this spider underneath the butterfly joint. So as you're articulating the arm, it's not touching the design on the front. So from the front, this figure is going to look very clean. That's really good. And that is a difference from the previous one, which I'll show you in a minute. So that's really nice. Spider obviously on both sections of the torso, upper and lower. Spin it round to the back. Again, you see that spider design on both parts. And this time, the spider legs are actually on the butterfly joints, but they're on the back, but they have at least painted them through. And again, they look really crisp and clean as well. That's really good. So yeah, see, there's a little bit of a sloppiness there on the spider. But other than that, the rest of the figure looks really clean. So I ain't really got any complaints. If there's going to be sloppiness, I'm glad it's on the back. But to be fair, honestly, look at that. It's pretty good. And obviously the lines go all the way under the arm and all the way back round to the front. And yeah, they look really good. But I like how the spider design just misses the butterfly joints here. So as you're articulating the arm, you're not breaking up any design, which is different to the previous one. So if I bring in the previous spider, you can see first and foremost, the spider designs are different. This one's got the little pincers at the top. This one's a bit more width. That one's got a bit more at the bottom than this one. But again, it's all about the legs. Look how different the legs are spread out. A little bit more confined, a little bit more together on here, a bit more spread out. And you can see the butterfly joints here actually have the white on the front. So as you're articulating here, you just get that big clumpy white bit, and it never really sort of sit flush, unfortunately. Same on the back, you just get that big white bit sticking out, which is a difference here because it's a lot cleaner. And as I said, no whiteness there compared to the whiteness on the butterfly joint there. So yeah, that's a great change. The biggest difference I noticed though, looking at these two figures, isn't the spider logo, it's the head sculpts. Look at the eyes here on this one. Nice, concise, smart looking eyes. And then on this other one, it's got the big Todd McFarlane style eyes, which some people like. So I will try a head swap as well, to be fair. But yeah, there you go. Look at the two head sculpts. One, the eyes are a lot smaller. The other one, the eyes are massive. So I'm sure we can swap those around. So we'll try that in a minute. But other than the white spider logo and then the small little white patches that are on all of the hands, the figure is completely black. All black, which makes for a very crisp, smart looking symbiote Spider-Man. As I said, unfortunately, we've still got the pins. There's a boot swivel, even though he's not wearing boots. There's a thigh swiveled up there. You've got the crunch down here at the bottom of the diaphragm, as well as the diaphragm ball up top. So lots of tilt and movement. So yeah, this guy's going to have a better amount of range overall compared to the previous one. But let's first just try a little head swap. And there you go. The old head does pop on this new body, no problem at all. So if you do prefer the bigger eyes, you can swap them from the old figure and put it on here. So there you go. The different head sculpt. So you do have options in that way. If you do have the previous symbiote Spider-Man, you have a couple of options in regards to what head you want to use. But those big white eyes do look really nice on this bigger, chunkier body. So this figure obviously comes with 3 different sets of hands, including a fisted set, swipping hands, and all the hands do have the little white square on the forehand as well. And finally, a set of wall-crawling hands, which is a nice touch because sometimes these are missing from Spider-Man figures, especially MCU figures. They just don't give us wall-crawling hands. But we have with this guy, which does give us plenty of options for posing. If you have the beaten-up Peter Parker head that came in the Craven 2-pack, then yes, that does fit on this new body. So does the regular Peter Parker head. Obviously, this retro Spider-Man body is all about the articulation. So if you have the previous one, you know what this is all about. But the arms will go all the way up. There's a bicep swivel that go all the way around, double-jointed elbow and a hinge in the wrist. There's also a really deep sort of butterfly joint, so you can get really nice back and forward as well. So that's pretty good. And now the good thing about the torso is that the ab crunch is down here at the waist. So you get a nice crunch, but then the swivel is up here at the top of the diaphragm. So as you're articulating this, it will break up the spider design, obviously, but it does allow for great range, tilting forward, crunched all the way forward. Literally, he can literally look between his legs and all the way back as well, which is really nice. The head has some nice range as well. There's a cut in the actual neck, so you can articulate the neck looking up and bury the chin. Legs will go out like crazy amount, like look at that, crazy amount. Go forward, really nice. Back, not so much, but that's just fine as well. Articulation here with the swivel at the top of the thigh. Double jointed knees. He can kick his own lower back all day long. As I said, boot cut, even though there's no boots, and a great ankle pivot and rocker. So yeah, this is the best articulated body for a Spider-Man figure. And as I said, this guy can get in some crazy good poses. So you don't come to me for posing action figures, even though I do that every day. But still, this is really good. And let's get into some comparisons. Here we have the 2 other Spider-Man characters in this second retro wave with the Spider Armor Mark 1 and the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. And these 2 are obviously on the same retro Spider-Man body. So you're going to get the same amount of range in motion out of both of them. But overall, these are 3 great additions to any Spider-Man shelf with a brand new character here, the first time in figure form for Legends, and then 2 very nice upgrades here. Obviously, reviews for the whole wave on the channel. Check out the videos tab and the playlist. We talk about that retro Spider-Man so much, and here he is, the OG himself, compared with the pizza Spider-Man as well, where it all began. And remember, that old symbiote body was on that same pizza Spider-Man. So now this new symbiote is actually on this body. So that is your upgrade. So as we all know, the symbiote suit is actually Venom. So here we have him compared to 2 versions of Venom we currently have in our display. We need a new Venom now with an updated body mold, please Hasbro. But let's take Eddie Brock out the way and bring in Carnage, because you can't have Venom without Carnage. There we have the new symbiote suit compared to Venom and Carnage. Here we have him compared to a couple of other Spider-Men with Spider-Man UK and Kane. Here we have him compared to Black Cat and Cindy Moon Silk. And remember in the comics that Black Cat actually did give Peter a black costume that wasn't the symbiote that he wore for a while in the comics. So maybe you could display these 2 together. And talking about black and white, let's bring in Spider-Woman as well, which looks really nice. So if she will stand, no one will stand for me. Come on, everyone stand. Let's have a standing party. And I've already showed you this head swap, but here we have the symbiote Spider-Man compared to Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Bringing in a couple of classic comic Avengers, here we have Captain America and the brand new exclusive Doctor Strange. And then last but of course not least, here we have the symbiote Spider-Man compared to Captain Britain and Hellfire Hank. Final thoughts, this is a great figure. This is essentially an upgrade to the previous Symbiote Spider-Man on that old Pizza Spider-Man body, which did us great for years, it really did. But this one is a much better body. I just think aesthetically it looks better. And I also think the way that they've put the white spider on this suit, sits better. So when you articulate him, it doesn't break up the design, especially from the front. And that's how we're going to pose him, right? We're going to pose him front on. So that spider logo isn't broke up too much when you're articulating him around. Great range of motion. You can get this guy in many dynamic poses, which really brings the shelf to life. And as I said right at the start of the video, this is arguably his second most iconic look. We've got the classic red and blue, but then the black suit is iconic now. And yeah, this is a beautiful figure to represent that. And you can use the previous head as well if you do want the bigger eyes too. So you still have options with all the swappable hands. He is going to fit nicely into a Spider-Verse, that is for sure. As I just said, we do need an updated Venom now, thinking of black suit symbiotes, but I'm sure that will come in time. But you let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you getting yourself this upgrade? Honestly, do not sleep on this line. You know the aftermarket price of the very first Spider-Man. This one won't be far behind it. So get it now while it's at retail. Don't sleep on this figure if you are on the fence. I'm sure you're not on the fence. I'm sure everyone is over the fence, because why wouldn't you want this figure? But let me know in the comments below, like always. And if you want to see more Marvel Legends reviews, you want to see the rest of my reviews from this Spider-Man Retro Wave 2, check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at itsdanwho. And I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me, DanWhoReviews. And until then, people, my name is Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.